The UN just put up a giant statue in New York that resembles a beast described in the book of Revelation. Everybody, Giant Storm Don't Speak. Well, thanks to a subscriber that sent this to me. I appreciate all the links you guys send. It really helps me out a lot. So please keep sending them. I can't get to all of them, obviously, but this one just jumped out. I mean, guys, look at this. This does resemble a beast described in the book of Revelation. We'll get to that in a second. But this thing is big. You know, and obviously it doesn't resemble any creature that we know of in this world. But all of this stuff, as we've talked about many times, it originates in the spiritual realm, in Ephesians 6, in the spiritual war. And now we're in the end game. We're in the tribulation hour. And things like this are now starting to manifest. Look at the size of this thing. All the different colors, of course, representing the LGBTQZYXB communities. You know, so many, they're using all the alphabet letters now, pretty much. But one of the strangest statues he says he's ever seen, this is author Michael Snyder, by the way, is right outside UN headquarters in New York City. When I first heard about this, I could hardly believe the global elite would be so brazen, and I agree. This is really brazen. So I checked into this very carefully. Unfortunately, this is not just a bad rumor. This absolutely gigantic statue is called the Guardian of the International Peace and Security. They shall say peace and safety. Does that ring a bell? And then sudden destruction shall come. Guys, I've been saying peace and safety for a while now. Eventually, sudden destruction, it's coming. Anyway, this looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. I agree. It does not resemble any known creature on this planet. Instead, it appears to closely resemble a beast that's described in the book of Revelation. There's also a video, if you haven't seen it yet. It's over here on Twitter. There it is. I can see how big this thing is for yourself. All the links, of course, will be up in the comments as always. Now back to the story at hand here. So do you really think they could put this up without anyone noticing? And yet nobody's really covering it. If you do search on Google News for this statue, you won't find a single story from mainstream media. Well, hopefully that'll change soon because people need to know about this. Indeed. Guys, what have we talked about many, many times? When they've got us ultra focused on, say, Russia, they've got us ultra focused on, say, the coronavirus or whatever it may be today. And they want there, and it's like the mainstream is screaming, hey, look over here, look over here. I'll always take a look around in the other directions because stuff like this will show up. They're not reporting on this. But basically, this is the United Nations rolling out the welcome mat for the Antichrist, for the beast. Wow. I'll continue here now. I mean, it just blows me away. This is what they're hiding from you when they've got you distracted with politics and all the crap with Biden and so forth. Anyway, here's what the United Nations is saying about this. A guardian for international peace and security sits on the visitors plaza outside UN headquarters. The Guardian is a fusion of jaguar and eagle donated by the government of Oaxaca, Mexico. And it was created by artists Jacobo and Maria Angelis. And like I said, all the links will be in this article. So it's supposed to be a fusion of a jaguar and an eagle. And just by coincidence, it's been painted in the LGBT colors. Okay, well, when Christians see this monstrosity, they're immediately going to think of the beast described in Revelation chapter 13, starting in verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. The Antichrist, that's who the dragon gives his power to. Jaguars and leopards have builds that are at least somewhat similar, so I guess one can make an argument that the body of this statue resembles either one, and that's true. They are very similar. As for the feet, they do seem to resemble those of a bear, and it's noteworthy that the feet are a totally different color from the rest of the body, as we can see right here. That indeed they are. So you can see the photos of, well, when it comes to the mouth, to me, it looks more like the mouth of a lion than the mouth of a jaguar. And that's debatable. You know, everybody can kind of see what they want to see. Perception is reality after all, but close enough, right? You can see photos of lions with open mouths here, photos of jaguars with open mouths here, and you can do comparisons and decide for yourself. As for the wings, I suppose that could be argued they were modeled after the wings of eagles. In fact, let's go back and let's do that real quick. Lion. And then let's go to, oh, where'd it go? Jaguars, open mouths here. Jaguars, lions. I mean, obviously there's facial differences. You know, a lion's face is wider than a jaguar's, obviously, but you can see for yourselves. The mouth itself isn't that different. And then we go back and look at the picture closer up and compare. You decide. Jaguar, lion. And then, of course, the statue. Anyway, I think it's close enough for my, for government work anyway. Just saying. As for the wings, I suppose it could be argued that they were modeled after the wings of eagles. But in ancient lore, dragons are also reported to have wings. And it's interesting to note that a dragon is specifically mentioned in Revelation chapter 13. And then tomorrow morning, he said Revelation 13 was scheduled to be part of his regular Bible reading. Just another coincidence, I suppose. Yes, God likes to make those happen, these coincidences. So later on in Revelation chapter 13, we learn that this beast that the Apostle John was shown represents the Antichrist, which will rule the entire world during the days of the Great Tribulation. And that's where we're at. And they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him? So is that saying that they're worshiping out of love or out of fear? Because they're saying, who is able to make war with him? Who is like him? That's more fear, guys. That's not love. Remember, there's some misconceptions about the Antichrist. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. Who does that sound like? And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given to him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. So, if you are a born again believer, you are going to be awake and you are not going to worship the Antichrist. If any man have an ear, let him hear. And we'll stop there and continue on with the article here down below. If this statue was actually purposely modeled after the beast of Revelation 13, which I believe it was, could it be possible that the United Nations has just put out a huge welcome mat for the Antichrist? Yes, I believe that's what they've done. And it's part of the ritual, part of what they have to do in revealing it to us and to the world. But they're just not ready to publicize it in the mainstream yet, apparently. But if they're not speaking about it, guess what? I will. That's why I'm here, right? So he's also got a book here if you'd like to read it about the 7-year apocalypse. But moving on here, the statue that has just been erected outside UN headquarters in New York is also reminding many of a passage in Daniel chapter 7. Starting in verse 2, Daniel spake and said, I saw my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the heavens drove upon the great sea. And 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings, like we're looking at today. I beheld the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and was made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. Donald Trump. And another beast, a second like a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this, I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon it the back of 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. And after this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, the 4th beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. These prophetic passages in the Bible are very well known, and officials at the UN must have realized that this statue would be linked to such passages by millions upon millions of people all over the globe, and yet they put it up anyway. Now, with each passing day, things just keep getting weirder, and we continue to get more signs that we're in the end times, guys. I think the Bible prophecy expert, Ricky Scaparo, summed things up very well when he made this statement. I believe the Lord is revealing these things to those who are spiritually discerning and awake in this hour to assure us that the time of the end is drawing closer, and that we need to be watchful and remain in prayer as the day of the Lord is at hand, and that is absolutely the truth. That is a very accurate statement, if I've ever heard one or seen one or read one here recently. I believe the Lord is revealing these things to those who are spiritually discerning and awake in this hour to assure us that the time of the end is drawing closer, and that we need to be watchful and remain in prayer as the day of the Lord is at hand. Guys, we are into the tribulation hour. Leland Jones and very few others are saying it, but Leland's definitely been saying it. I've been saying it. Paul and Adrian at Off-Grid Desert Farming have been saying it. This is where we're at, guys. We can keep trying to deny it all that we want, but the mark is here. Slowly but surely, you're not going to be able to do anything without it. As we're starting to see in Europe, Australia, and other places, we have wars, rumors of wars everywhere. I mean, I just got done putting up a bunch of stuff on the community page. Israel Defense Minister meets today with U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin to discuss the situation with Iran. Israel wants the U.S. guarantees of air refueling in the event of war with Iran. Now we get to pivot over to China, where they vowed to open fire on U.S. troops if they assist in the defense of Taiwan, which, yeah, obviously you're going to shoot at whoever's shooting at you and so forth, and back and forth you go. But now they're just, openly saying it and warning U.S. troops basically get lost. All of this is going to come down to the wire very soon. And like I've said, I don't know how many times in the past, it's all going to happen in rapid succession. And look at the earthquakes in diverse places today. And over the past, few months? Look at off the coast of Oregon right now. Matter of fact, let's go take a look, since we're speaking about it, right? Earthquakes, latest USGS. Let's go take a peek here. Kaboom. Let's look. Wow. Look at that. Right again. 5.4. Right now at 3:52 p.m. Pacific time. And then earlier, they're not stopping, guys. 5.2. All in the same area, right here in this Juan de Fuca, or whatever they call it. Or the Blanco, or I can't remember. So many different plates and stuff I've been hearing about and looking at, and I'm not the expert. So, but I mean, it doesn't take an expert to see what's going on out here. It hasn't stopped. And now we're back up to 5.4 range. Guys, prayed up and prepped up at all times. We don't know what's going to kick off and when. Could be Russia and Ukraine, could be China, Taiwan. I think that's going to happen almost simultaneously. Once Russia starts going after Ukraine, China will just go ahead and take Taiwan. Some are debating whether or not shots will be fired there. Who knows? But anyway, I had to bring this up to you today because this thing just, yes, looks like the beast out of Revelation. Also looks like the one described in Daniel. We're here. Wow, are we ever here?